Okay, hello. I hope this works. I'm going to expand my thing so you can see this website. So learningtrajectories.org is what I've chosen to go ahead and use as far as my website, my fresh resource. And the reason I like this after kind of looking through some others, first of all, it's got 3 and 4 year olds. So I work with preschool students and I do gold data. So gold aligns more with our early learning guidelines. So to create this, it goes with the standards of 3 and 4 year olds and some 4 and 5 year olds. So one of my target areas is algebra and some geometric, kind of the shapes and geometry, how things like that work, building blocks. So they do a lot of learning through play. So I like the early learning guidelines because through play they can respond to use of spatial words, recognize names, simple shapes. So things that we can do while we're playing with the kiddos, and keep track of some information there. So this website here, the learningtrajectories.org, has a place for you to set up your class. So pretty much like any other type of website that you would use a learning device for, you set up your class. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Epic, but you can have kiddos get on there and they can read certain things and it'll kind of keep track of how many books your children have read or your class has read, and so you can keep track. So you put in their name, their age, and so if I had a 3 year old, then of course, might tweak it a little bit. It would go towards 3 year olds. You get down, they can have a picture and then their name, have their own little password so each student can log in and play however they want to do this. So this would be like a really good, what I would say, like listening center time or computer center time, where you might rotate the kiddos, or something you could do with them one-on-one too, to kind of help them with the process. So the learning trajectories, so they say 4 years old, 3 years old, so it's birth to third grade, which I really like. And then you can click, you can filter. So I want them to do numbers, or maybe I was thinking more like operations, algebraic, number thinking, number sense, and geometry for my kiddos. So I might just click a couple of those to filter some things. And then what I want them to do, or what those standards are for them. So as you continue to go down, it will highlight for you what exactly happens. There's a video that will tell you and explain, and what they're keeping track of, how it works. And so you can start here if you've got 4 year olds marked, 3 year olds marked, and then you click your trajectories. Then you also have what will line up here. So that's what you're actually going to teach and keep track of as they use this website. This TSG right here stands for Teaching Strategies Gold. So that's the way we keep track of standards and assessments for our kiddos. So we use the Early Learning Guidelines, which is aligned with Gold data, Teaching Strategies Gold. It's a way to keep assessments for kiddos. And it goes from preschool to third grade. But in our school district, we really only use it for our 3 to 4 year olds, exit and entrance if they are coming in or out of our programs. So I love that it lines with our standards and our gold data assessment, which is just really great. You don't find a lot of websites, I feel like, out there that have that for the littler guys, and because technology is becoming so important, I think it's a great way for them to kind of get familiar, especially those 4 year olds that next year in kindergarten will be taking a math class and a math map test on the iPad. So it kind of can get your little ones familiar with what's going on and how to use that device too before they're really in kindergarten and doing it for real. So it's got some directions and some activities too. So you can select activities to view, give you some instructional strategies, which is great. Like I said, we do a lot of play, learning through play, which is just amazing for their little brains when they're little. So it gives you kind of a mini lesson plan, or if you're working with 2 or 3 kids at the block center, I've got that idea from the website that I looked at. So again, you kind of just keep going through, and it will give you some of these progresses of what you want to put. So for each student, it could be a way to keep track of progress on how they're doing on each individual goal that you have set up according to their trajectory. So depending on how they're doing in their goal data, they may be really, really high and don't need that number sense or that algebra, but maybe need a little bit more with data or building and the geometry. So it just depends on what you want your kiddos to do.